on the computer. That's what we want. Alrighty. So we are recording. Welcome, welcome. All right. So I hope you enjoyed last week because it was a lot of fun. I liked it, but you know, it's all about me. So I thought that I would this week, I was trying to remember what I'd actually said last week because so much has happened between now and then. And we did the actual block, or I did that sort of sample piece there. And I know that we need to know how to join them all together. It's obviously very, very important that we need to know how to join them together. So I thought, and you're also going to need to do the borders, and they're joined all the same. So this week, what we'll do is we'll start on some of the borders. And I mean, obviously you're going to do this in your own time. You know, you can always go back over these. You've got Christmas break and all that sort of stuff. And so that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to screen down. Bear with me. There we go. And I'll zoom in a little. Now, in the background, you will hear Mary, you know, running around doing her little thing. She's trying to be very quiet. I think she might have even put her slippies on. I'm joking. So if you do hear Mary in the background, that's what it is. Now, this here is the large block that we were doing. That's the one we did last week. Okay, so that's it there. And what we're going to do this week is we're going to do this one, which is your border. And I think it's 21 or 22 sheets, but you would have got an extra in your goodies so that if you wanted to make it bigger or you wanted to, you know, just copy more of them, you've got a master sheet basically, all right? Now, I have pre-cut some pieces ready to go, and they are specifically for this. I'm hoping there's enough there. Pretty sure there is. Now, I think I might need another yellow. I think I've lost some bit of yellow that I had, but I can get that easily. So the reason why I'm going to do it this way is because I want to show you, once we do this one, I want to show you how to join it to the other piece. Okay, there's a way to join this to make it look normal without looking like you've you know, just all of a sudden stuck this bit of fabric in the middle and it looks different. So it just looks like a continuation of what you're doing, all right? So again, we're going to start with your number ones and all that sort of thing. So we start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and all that jazz. So you all got that really well, didn't you? You all coped with that really, really well. Does anyone else, if you need any help anywhere, you can unmute yourself at any time if you need to ask for help. Just be known to that. No, we're all good. Okay. So first things first is we need to check out the colours. Now, looking at it, you've got to look at it this way. All right, so if you were to look at this, this is this part of that block. Okay, that's exactly what it is. So if you were to fold that over, it becomes that, because it's back to front, remember? All right, because we work on the back. So that's what you end up doing for your borders. So that absolutely helps to make them fit all the way around. So this is what we're going to do. So remembering from here, here's your number 1, which is obviously going to be that way around. So we're going to start here again. We're going to do the same thing. So we're going to start with the colour of the yellow or whatever we've actually started with. So in mine, I've actually started with the blue. So that's the one I'd go to. All right, so exactly the same thing. So I would put a little bit of blue down. I would put it on the back. And again, you can put your little dab of glue or you can pin it, whatever you like. And you can have that ready to go. And like I say, you can do it as chain piecing or whatever you like. So again, a main thing is that you make sure that you have enough to cover those seams at all times. So the first one, we're going to stitch all the way around and we do it on this side. You remember that so far? That's all good? Makes sense? Yep. Good. All right, so I'm going to just read my machine. And of course, you guys are 100% welcome to be doing this at the same time. Any questions, just ask. Put your hand up, whatever you need. And without my eyes on, I can't see a bleeding thing. And I know I had them here a minute ago. You seen them, Mary? Seen my eyeballs in there? Are they? Oh. Right in front of me, by the way, because I didn't have them on to see them. All right, so we're going to, oh, I'm fogging up already. Look at my eyes. Let me just thread this machine because it's still got to go to its mechanic and have that fixed. I can't see now. Poor Rod, my poor husband, his eyes, he's got to go, he had to go to the hospital this morning. This is his second time in 3 weeks, the poor bugger. And about 3 weeks ago, just before I went into hospital, he ended up with some like grit and dirt in his eyes. And it ended up being from when he was doing the, sorry, just concentrating, sharpening those chainsaw blades. And, you know, that's all good and well. Don't forget to put your stitch down at 1.5. Yeah? And anyway, so he's been doing that. Well, he didn't do it this time. But he woke up with this grit in his eyes again. And so off he went to the hospital. He's at work, obviously. And they've sent him off to the optometrist because they don't have the machinery there to get the stuff out of his eye. So we're thinking that there's still stuff from last time, which has got to be really uncomfy. All right, so we got that one done. I think I lost a pin. There it is. And again, hold that bit of fabric, bend it back, flip it over, and we're going to cut that little bit away, 1/4 inch. Might need to swap the blade out. Can I swap the thing over? Yeah, tile. The blade needs to be changed in that one. Trim your bit of threads. Did that one altered? Okay. Yeah, so he's feeling sorry and sore for himself, the bugger. Nothing worse than having something in your eye, but last time they had to scrape it off his eye 4 times, and apparently they'd put some anaesthetic in it and they hadn't put enough. And he's winching and he's, you know, pulling back and stuff. And she said, "Oh, can you feel that?" He's like, yeah. Oh, you're not supposed to feel that. You should have said something. Well, I didn't know. You didn't tell me I wasn't supposed to feel it. Anyway. All right, so that's your number 1. Okay. And again, flip it over there. We know the number 2 is going to be our black. And I'm just going to give this one a quick press. It's been crumpled up in the bag for a while. And just going to trim it around about the right size. A little bit bigger. And remember which side we're working this way. So make sure it's facing the right way. Place that over, just like that. Now, again, you can glue or whatever. I like to just pop a little pin in just to keep it under control, out of my way. take that to machine, and I'm going to stitch from there to there, but making sure that I stitch behind in that area there. I don't want to stitch right on that line. I'm going to do that right now. Okay. You right, Rado, all good? Yep. Having trouble with the camera?
No, I was having trouble with my speaker, so I was plugging one in.
Oh, okay, right, okay, that's all right. I don't really think I need to cut much off that at all. It looks pretty good to me. And I'll flip that over, and you can iron if you want to, finger press. Personally, you know, I only iron if it becomes really unruly. Sometimes happen, and I get my little bit of glue, place it down there, and that's, you know, if I get the iron at all, it'll be to heat that up and make it stay. Fingers are working okay today. And I will flip that over, cut off that one. And we want to do this one, but if we stitch that now, then I'm going to have to stitch it twice anyway. So we're not going to do that. We're going to get our next color. And my next color is going to be the hot pink, which is here, this one. So the hot pink is the one I'm going to grab. And I'm going to face it down there and fold it back, like I said, fold it back so you can see that seam line where that black line is. That's where it's going to be. You want to make sure that you're covering it. And I just tend to grab it. You can pin it if you want to, because sometimes it moves. You might still pin it, it's a bit small. I'm hoping the other girls catch on to the thing. I might just check Facebook just in case I've got some messages I've missed. Bear with me a second. Have I missed anyone? Inbox. I couldn't even get Facebook to load the other day. So I'm going to stitch that one right on that line. Cut off. Okay, no messages, all good. And come back, take my pin out, pick up that bit of fabric, pinch it between your fingers and pinch that seam down nice and tight. Fold her over. What did you think of the crazy quilting? It's cool, isn't it? And the quilt as you go, good stuff. You know you can do this as quilt as you go. Easy peasy. Because once you do this part, you can then quilt it into a block and then join them. Punani's. A little bit of glue, fold her over just to hold that spot. And I'm going to fold that back because my seam line is right there. I can see that, baby. And I don't want to stitch that down yet, but I do want to cut just past that because I don't want to waste that fabric. So just pass down, and that's going to stay there. Flipping that over and trimming off my little fairy bits. So the next one we've done 1, 2, and 3. And like I say, you can tick them off. You can go, right, I've done that one, and that one. So you don't forget and try and do it the second time. So now I know I need to stitch across here. And I also need to remember to come inside that number 1 block, just so I don't, you know, have an exposed seam from this one, all right? So we're going to come from this point to this point, and we're going to stitch those down, but we're going to do it with a piece of black. So we get our little bit of black. Remember which side we're on, double check. I'm going to just trim that off so that it's around about the same size as the pink. And I can see that my seam line is there because that's where the other one is. There's Gidget now, just go admit. Hi Gidget, Gidget's in, pop her in. Gidget is connecting to audio. Welcome, welcome Gidget. Let's see if we can get her in. There we go. I'm just going to mute Gidget. There we go. Welcome Gidget. I can't hear you, but yes, welcome. You can unmute yourself if you need to. All right, so I know that that is where I cut that number.
Hello, hello.
Ah, there you are. How are you, darling?
Good, 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 darling.
You made it, you made it. All right, so I'll just do that there. I'm just going to mute you, Gidget, just so we don't interrupt the other girls. There we go. All right. So this is your where I'm going to stitch from here to here, and I know that because I said before I'm going to stitch just behind that number 1 line all the way down to here, and that's going to do number 4 because we've got 1, 2, 3, and we always have to go in numbers orders. All right. So I'm going to do that now. So just to reiterate their Gidget for you, we're just going, I'm just doing the side, the border blocks so that I can join one on and show you, but also show you the step out of the border block as well. So folding that back on that seam line, your ruler, 1/4 inch, trim it off. Remember that pattern will be in reverse. Yeah. So flip it over, finger press down. And I'm just going to put that double glue there, a little bit there. I've got glue refills, but no glue sticks left. So I have ordered some, if anyone needs them. But I mean, any of those cheap child glues will work as well. All right. So that's that. Then I know my next one, now I've done number 4, is going to be number 5, and that's my lello. Okay. So I'm going to need a second lello. I don't know any other lello. Oh, Mary's going to cut me a little piece of lello. I think I would probably have some in there. If I didn't, it would definitely be on that bolt over there because I need this one. So Mary's going to find me for my next block. I only need a square. So just making sure it covers that area. I think I'd go this way, yeah. Good. Otherwise, I'm going to come really close to my lines and going over here, fold it back so we can see that seam down. So it gives me an idea. Yeah, watch for pins. Mary's digging away in my scrap box. If you saw my scrap box, it's just full of half-finished projects and all sorts of things. Now you're going to see here, I've got a little bit of black showing, pointing out, poking out underneath that yellow. That's going to cause an issue later. So it is going to need to be trimmed back to the yellow. I am going to put a pin in over here. And holding on to it, I'm going to do the seam between number 4 and 5. Okay. All right, so I forgot to cut my little daggy bits off before. And I need to do that. All right, take that away. And again, pinch and fold back. Make sure that when you do this, that black is less than that yellow. All right, if you have it pointing outwards, you're going to see that black line. Can you see that? Can you see that? Oops, wrong way. Can you see that black line there? If I push down on there, can you see it? That's the fabric underneath. So I see it a lot in quilts when I do a lot of quilting for people. They don't think that that's going to show, but that really shows, especially when the quilt's wet, and especially once it's stitched, because you'll actually, because it pushes it down and makes it really quite visible. So it's very important when you're doing anything that's dark to light, just to make a note of it. You fold that back, make sure it's well out of the way. Okay, trim it back. Make sure that yellow, see, is over and above the black, so that when you fold it over, I can still see a little bit of that line, but it's nowhere near as bad as what it was. If you wanted to, you could even cut a little bit further, but you might take the chance of it pulling out in a seam. I'm not really that fussed about it being, you know, pulling out, because I don't think it will. But just knowing where it's showing, like up this end, I'm just going to trim it back a little bit just so it's behind that yellow. That looks better already, so that when I put it down, you don't see that big black line underneath there. Yeah. Again, a little bit of glue just to hold him down. Placed on, and that goes there. Just push that down. And so we've done number 5, and let's tick it off. Done. So now we need to stitch number 5 and like 3, 4, and 5 to number 6. So we're going on to this one. So we turn it sideways. We need a piece of black that is going to give us that length. Okay. Just give it a quick press. Being unruly while I'm trying to sew it. Okay. Now flip it back over this way. We know we're going to work on this side. Fold it back to where we can see that next stitch line is, which is there. Press it down so you've got a little bit of a line, a crease. Place that in position, making sure you're giving yourself enough room, and move it forward 1/4 inch, no more. If you can move forward more, but you've got to be careful you don't give yourself no room. Okay. You take too much black off in the seam. Is that what I'm trying to say? All right, so then we're going to stitch, flipping it over from this line down to here. So we're going to sew these to number 6, not this line, because that line there is going to be 6 to 7. All right, so if you stitch this line, you're pretty much going to stitch air. Okay, so we're going to stitch from here to here, holding it in your hand just like that, and then bring it to your machine. Okay. So that now gives me something to cut off. So pinch that. Again, remember that yellow and the black. Fold it down. This will also happen if you've got navy blue with the whites or creams and anything like that. It'll be very, very visible. All right, so I'm just going to move my stuff and make sure you've got room. I'm in the wrong spot. There I am. And trim that down 1/4 inch. fold it over. It's all good. Plenty. A little bit of glue here and here, just to hold him down. Press down with your fingers, and you can even, like I say, use a bit of heat to hold that glue down. Just helps. A little bit of cheating, nothing wrong with that. Okay, next one we're going to do, as we've just done number 6, we're going to do 6 to 7. So we need the fabric colour for number 7, and the fabric colour for that is, have a look here. Number 7 is orange, so that's going to be this one. So that's the one I'm going to use. And sorry, folding it around the wrong way. Find my seam line by folding back the black. Just crease it. Grab this. Make sure it's going to cover the area we need. Move it forward like that. Pin it down. So I'm just going to grab that. Oopsie daisy. Spotlight for everyone. Remove all pin videos. Continue. There we go. That's probably a bit better. All right. So this one here, we're now going to flip this over. I'll zoom out a little because I'm too close. There we go. And we're going to stitch from here to here. Okay, don't forget your little hairy bits. Trust me, if you don't do them now, when you get to the end of it, you'll have 30 million of them and you'll be very annoyed. I'm just going to stitch that down on that line. There we go. Take that in. You can see again, you're going to have that issue, even though it's an orange, it's still a light colour and you've got that black. So you always make sure. I'm looking at that seam. I don't think I need to take anything off that orange, but what I am going to do is I'm just going to fold that back. I'm going to get my iron and just quickly press it out of my way. Very quickly. Just like that. So just pressed it back a little. I'm going to get my duck bills because they are really good for getting up close, and I'm going to just very carefully trim along. I'm going to hold that out of the way, my arm in the way. And I'm going to do a scant 1/4 inch. Just like that. And that gets that right out of the way. A bit of glue down. I'm going to have to probably heat it up because I've ironed. And then press that down. And you can't see any of that black line now. All right, so just put a bit of heat on that because it's I'm really happy that I ironed it back. All right, so that's perfect. We've done that one. Tick him off. The next one we're going to do is number 8. So we're going to join number 1, 2, 3, 6, and 7 to number 8, which is a piece of black. All right. So there's my line from number 1 block. I'm going to fold these babies back a little just so I can keep an eyeball on the prize. There we go. And I know I need a little bit of black. I'll do it. Now, 20. Just there. And then I need to move it forward. 1/4 inch. Just pin it down. Okay. Just while I'm doing this, I do like to keep sure everyone's messages, everyone's got. We've got the link. All right. So we're going to now flip it back over. Just hold that in place. I'm going to stitch from here to here. Again, that stitch line there from number 1, I need to be on the inside of it. All right, so I'm just going to aim for that. And then once I get across here, I can go back onto the line. It's literally 1 stitch width away. But holding it between your fingers like this and then flipping over and taking to your machine is a really handy way to do it. Excuse me. Okay, so we've got that there. We can tell we need to trim these little babies off. Fold them back. Same scenario. Blade, 1/4 inch. Now I can tell I've got too much black on there. So trim that off. Hairy bits. Flip over. A little bit of glue just to hold it tight. Like I say, if it doesn't, get that iron onto it. Flip it back over. I know I've just done number 8 fabric, so now I'm going to go on to number 9, and number 9 for me is going to be a lime green. So my lime green needs to cover that area, which it does, which is brilliant. So then I flip back over. Come on, there we go. Fluffy bits. Hold it back to the seam. Just like that. Give myself a crease. Bring the fabric up so we can see. I'm going to cover that area nice, easy. I'm covering the seam. I'm giving us an allowance, seam allowance. Again, turn it sideways, hold it between the two forefinger and your thumb, right, your pointed finger and your thumb, and just hold onto it and flip, just like that, and take it to your machine. Okay, that's a kettle roaring in the background. That's just decided to take off. Okay, I'm going to get rid of that. Get rid of that one. And you can see that it's going to show it's not too bad. It's not as bad as the other colours, but we can trim this one back as per normal. Flip her over, 1/4 inch. Keep on keeping on. All right, flip the fabric over. Bit of glue, just one in each corner. Overdo it. The more glue you put on, the harder it's going to get that paper off later. Trust me on that. From experience. I'll tell you that one. All right, so there we go. Just fold that back because now I know I've just done fabric number 9. I'm going to do number 10, which is going to be black. Because you're doing a color black, color black. That one there needs to be roughly the same length. Bring it up to that fold line and forward by roughly 1/4 inch. Pin down. Just enough to hold it. Turn sideways. Pinch between your fingers and flip, and we're going to stitch the line between number 9 and 10. Okay, take out that pin, grab that, pinch it together. Done all the other times. You'll be doing this in your sleep, you guys. 1/4 inch from that fold, blue. If I'm doing it in my sleep. Fold it over. Tick it off. I know I've done that one. Now I'm doing between number 10 and 11. So I need to actually do colour hot pink. Just this baby. Just a bit of a quick press. It needs to be just a bit bigger than that. So number 11. So to 10 to 11, fold it back. Sounds like a time. 10 to 11. And just give me a crease where the seam would be. Bring the fabric up to it a bit more forward. Pin it down in place. Then hold there and there, just like that. Pinch it between your fingers, hold on to it, flip it over, and we're going to sew the seam between 10 and 11. Make sure I haven't let it move. There we go. Any questions so far? Everyone's good, thumbs up. Yep, good, good. Gidget, Rusty, Radar, yep, good, okay. All right, so we've done that line, pinch it, fold it over, flip, stitch and flip. And I just heard something come in, so bear with me 2 secs. Okay, it's Rebecca. Okay, all right, just ignore it. Hang on. Actually, I don't think I can. Yeah, no. I'll just send her a thumbs up. There we go. That should be enough that she won't keep annoying me. Sorry about that. Children. All right, fold it back over. There and there. She's got right into this Christmas thing and she wants to do gifts and she wants to do this and she bought me a pair of slippers and, you know, and that's not enough. I said, that's plenty, save your money. She's right into it at the moment. Gifts and stuff. All right, so that is number 11, so we tick it off. Done. We're going to now do number 12. If I went there again, I'd be stupid, wouldn't I? I did it again. So I'll do it over here. I want to do what I did last week. So we're going to do number 11 then to 12. All right. So in saying that, I just need to fold them back. There's my line. That's from the number 1. Fold that back. And this, of course, is going to be a black because it's a nice thin one. It's a no-brainer. It's a black fabric. So quick press. And I can go across. It's going to go across from there to there, I'm pretty sure. Just double check over this way. Yep. So get a little bit more and trim off. Up to that seam line and a bit more forward. Pin, hold down. There. Pinch between your fingers like we did before. You can see we're going to do this line here, which is going to join that number 12 to all those others from this end to this end. Oops. Upside down, not good. Sometimes with a really long seam like that, it can move really easily. So I know I only placed one pin in there. See how it moved here? See how it's come really close to the seam? Sometimes it's better to have 2 or 3 pins, just saying. That was a close call, but you know, I don't have to do anything to change it. But if I had gone off the edge, it would have been an issue, but I didn't. So that was just luck, I think. Now we know that we've done number 12, so we can then grab these bits of fabric, fold them back, flip them over, and trim it all off. Okay. All right. So fold that over, glue under it. There to there, there to there. Hold it down taut. Might give that a bit of a press with the heat, just because it's on the edge of the fabric, the paper, sorry. Okay, hold that down. Okie doke, flip it back over. And now we're going to, we've just done number 12, so now we've got to do 13, which again is another piece of black. So I'm just going to get.
Question.
Yeah, sure. Who's that? Renato?
The border blocks and the bigger blocks for A5, and it was colour like the medium pink, which was A5.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I only got 16 pieces for the bigger blocks, and I'm supposed to use it for the smaller blocks as well, but there wasn't enough fabric. Do I just substitute?
So you got enough to do the smaller block.
There was enough to do 16 big blocks of this piece.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Supposed to do it in the border blocks as well, but there wasn't enough fabric. Do I just use a different colour?
You can if you like.
25 centimetres, and there wasn't enough to do every block in that colour.
Okay. Was there another pink there?
I had more of the bright pink, but you didn't even allow the cutting instructions. I'm just double checking that.
Okay.
On mine, that's why I used the yellow.
Okay, so we didn't allow enough for you. All right.
Yeah, you didn't put anything in there for the border block for A5.
Okay, that's good to know. So
A5 is the square one, Michelle.
this one.
No, this one on the what you've got is yellow.
Yep. Yeah.
We actually had enough of the yellow, so I think it's meant to be yellow, not the hot pink.
Okay.
So I swapped them for the yellow then. I have a heap of yellow cut, but it said for the border, and this is the border.
Yeah.
Yeah. What we're doing now is the border.
So I make all them from now yellow.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that might be where it's come in. Yeah, because we did allow a lot of hot pink for that bigger border.
Yeah. The bright pink for these borders.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll just swap it to
yellow.
The yellow. Yeah, that's my bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, Michelle, the purple one, the one you're going to do now, we've got instructions in the pattern to cut that the same as the other borders, so it's way too long.
Yeah, there was a bit of wastage there on these purple strips. They're meant to be.
That's a good one to know too. All right, so
the opposite seam.
Hang on, let me just get a thing and write a note. Hang on.
That wasn't just me.
No, not at all. No, and I need to know these things too. So A5 needs to be the yellow on.
Yeah, you need to do that.
Yeah, pattern for borders. Oopsie-daisy, borders. And the A14, which is your purple border ones.
Got them all cut at 12.5.
Yeah, needs to be.
On this one, they need to be just a smidge over half that length.
Yeah, 7 inches at the most. Yeah.
Yeah, cutting it
The
in half,
border.
you're on the knocker.
Yeah, no, beautiful. Thank you for letting me know that. That is perfect. Ah, there, guys, there, see, you're all over this shit.
Right.
All right. So, oh, where did I go? I had this one. No, I didn't. I had this one. All right. Now we're doing number A13. All right. I think I ironed a piece. I can't remember now. I'm easily sidetracked. You realise that, don't you? Bright lights. Oh, look, pretty lights. Now I'm gone. Zip gone. So, all right. So we're going to sew the number 11 and 12 onto A13. And that's, yeah, I really appreciate that, knowing that, because when we were trying to get it all together, it was quite difficult to try and figure, because in what I had created, I had like all the details for the center, but the side borders I had sort of, you know, just taken, you know, part of the pattern and actually cut a piece off and adjusted it to suit what I needed. And then of course I had to, and I didn't even think at the time when I started doing it, I didn't even think about, you know, requirements and blah, 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 because I was just sort of making stuff. And yeah, so it's good to know, because you're like pattern trialers. All righty, so we've got that pin down. That's our black. We're going to sew, flipping over from here to here, just making sure we catch that whole seam. All right, so we need to go cover the whole piece. Flip back over and sew that seam. All right. Now, so Rado, if you want, just thinking about that hot pink, do we have more of that hot pink? We don't really, do we? I think we ran out of that hot pink. Yeah. So you're going to have enough hot pink, Rado, for the borders now? You've sort of cut into that for those little ones, or not?
Oh, I didn't cut into it. Someone just suggested I should be using the yellow, which I have cut.
Oh, fantastic.
It's from the pattern to use the A5, but I should be using A13, so I will have plenty.
Okay, good. Oh, that's good, good, good. Okay. I was just starting to get a bit worried then. Okay, good. Oh, good.
I have enough. I changed the lettering.
Yep. I'm with you. All right. So again, fold back and trim and get rid of your little bits and glue him down. We're almost there. Fold it back over. Press nicely. And I'm going to tick that off as A13's done. Now we're going to do A14. All right. So we're going to do the line between A13 and 14. So my A14 colour is going to be my purple. Now I literally just ran out of this fabric. I really did. I had like 1 or 2 blocks left and not enough to make a size. So 2 blocks together, 2 pieces of fabric together to get my piece of fabric for my quilt, because I know I cannot get it anywhere, and I scrimped and saved to get this little piece of fabric. So mine's going to look a bit crappy, but yours will be fine. All right, so I'm going to fold that back, pin that down, I'll pinch that down. A little bit of fabric, and upside, right side's facing down, obviously. Moving forward, I'll even do it that way. And in the whole scheme of things, no one's going to notice, and it's going to look just bloody awesome. Isn't that right? All right, pinch it together, flip her over. We're going to stitch from there to there, holding it nice and firm. Trim that off. Back over. Pinch that down. Flip. Is that a trim? We're almost there. Is that wind I can hear? Gosh. Wow. Sounds like a car rolling up the driveway. Flip it over. And that is done now. All right, a bit of glue. She's on the edge, so I'm just going to glue those down in those two spots there and put a bit of heat to it. That's rain. Wow, that is noisy. And that'll just nicely make it look neat and go. So next step is to actually trim this baby with the blade. Now, do not cut on that line. Whatever you do, you're going to cause yourself an absolute world of hurt. We want to cut a 1/4 inch outside, so not your half, but a 1/4. If you were to cut on that black line, that is your stitch line. So you're going to cause yourself a world of grief. So just using that outside line as your stitch line, your ruler, line it up as you go. All the way around, like that. Whoopsie days, I went off bloody use. Went on a drunkard's path on that one. All right, there we go. That one's even still a little bit crooked. It's because I'm sitting while I'm trying to cut. There we go. Nice. Okay, it's all rubbish. Little bits over there. And there's a nice block ready and raring to go. And this baby is going to join up with the other ones. So I have joined all these, you know, the purple to the yellow. So I've literally just backed them up to each other. Now with this, all I do is get my little bit of black, which is your 1 inch piece of black, whatever it is. Okay. And I think it's like it, yep. Just give it a quick press. Make sure it's the size that you need. And we're going to lay it on that one, the first one. Okay, and line it up with the edge of it. Make sure you pin it in place, and I would probably pin 2 spots. You don't want it to move. Now we're going to flip it over and we're going to sew on the inside of that stitch line. So that's where we stitched last time. And come on, get the thread, get out of the way. Well, it's joined. We're going to stitch just inside that line, right? Because we don't want to see that stitch. So again, take it to your machine. Okay. Flip it back over. And we're going to just press that out there. Fingers. Get this piece we've just finished, making sure you've got it going in the right direction. So literally hold it together. Sorry, just trying to get it in your view. Hold it together. You've pressed that down like that and flip backwards as if you were, you know, just holding flip. Don't turn it, don't do anything, just hold and flip. And this is where it gets tricky. So flip that back over. So we've got this side. Now what I want to make sure is that these lines, any of these lines that have to line up, which they shouldn't have to line anything up other than the outer seam lines. So you see, let me just get a pin. You see this line here, which is the seam line from the top one, has to line up with the one underneath. It has to be in alignment, okay? Don't worry about the edge of your fabric so much. You want those drawn lines to literally line up. So you put a pin through them, just like that. So you go through one to the other, making sure, of course, this lines up here on the edge of the piece underneath at the same time. So line up that just there, line up the other side with the outer edge. You can pop a pin in there just to keep those two babies together. And then this edge, we want to make sure that that outside seam line lines up with that. And see how it didn't quite line up? So you need to adjust accordingly. Put it through there, through this one, right on that line. Come to the second one and make sure it's pinned right through on that line, which it has. Okay. Just aiming to keep everything all lined up nicely. Okay. Make sure push that way a little. And let's do that. There we go. That's really close. I'm pretty happy with that. All right. So that goes there. Then I can flip it over. And again, double check. Make sure that we're going to run nicely and stitch from here down to here. Now, just remember, you've got this big thingy here. That's going to have to move and go on straight, like across that way, not run parallel. All right, so we're going to sew from here to here. You can sew from this side if you like, but the chances are you will miss that line. I can see that little bit of black needs to come up a little bit, just there. Otherwise, I can see a bit of my white paper, which I don't want. So I'm just going to scooch it up a little and just put a small pin on this side, just to hold it in place. So leave that end. So if you were to stitch a 1/4 inch there, you're most likely going to miss the line here. Okay, and you really need to get that line, otherwise your block is going to be a different size compared to the ones before. All right, so we're going to stitch from here to here, just straight across, and I'll bring it straight back. Okay. All right, put some pieces in there. Take those pins out. Everything's great in theory. Let's see if the theory put to practice now works for us. Fold it back, and look at that. We have a 1 inch seam, a border. There you go. Okay, just as long as that's cut at 1 inch, it'll be the same size as all these. All right. And making sure that each one of these, when you cut them, are cut 1/4 inch from that line. If you cut it bigger, you're going to end up with more, like too much going in. So you can see that this here, you know, if that one there is cut shorter than smaller than 1/4 inch, just a little bit of a rough cut there. If I had a cut that 1/4, they would pretty much butt up to each other, right? Just nicely. Does that make sense? Everyone's good on that? Yeah, good. You can then press it if you like. So you give it a quick press. Keep it nice and crisp. Now stop it from flapping around. Then turn it over. And I haven't quite done this with all this yet, because you can see along here it's all a little bit rough here and there. That's all right. I was in a bit of a rush. So you can get your blade now. And you know, if you've got those lines, those sew lines, you know, fairly lined up. I haven't got the blade out, by the way. That one there's a bit of an angle, but it's not too bad. And line up your ruler at your 1/4 inch. Put your fingers out of the way. Trim it off. And you can trim off this. Other tip is, when you're doing this, guys, make sure you stitch, and I don't think I stitched it quite far enough on this one, but make sure you stitch to the edge of the actual piece of paper. Like, you can stitch further than just the actual line, you can stitch right across, okay? So you don't have to stitch just from line to line, you can stitch all the way across. Doesn't hurt it at all. Now, removing some paper. My mouse just decided to move things. Oh, yep, Christine. Yep. Hi, Christine. Christine's just coming in. So to remove some of these papers, the temptation is to want to take them all out, and how, all right? Really, you shouldn't remove any papers that are on the outside edge. Okay, so if you wanted to, you could take out, you know, they're joined together now so they can come out. But, you know, I definitely wouldn't take these out. They should be still there. You need them to join it up to the next connector. Like, you need to be able to join them up. So you really need the paper there. So realistically, if you're going to take any out, you might take out these ones, you know, and because you've used a 1.5 or 1 mil seam, you can pretty much sit there and just, you know, tear them out nice and easily. If you didn't and you used a large seam, then you're going to end up having little bits of paper everywhere. I try and keep them in right up until the last minute. I'll show you the back of the other part of it. So does everyone follow that a little bit? I'll just zoom back out this way. Did everyone grasp all that really well? They understood everything I was saying. It was all good. Yeah. Looks like everyone's
How
good.
many of those border seams do we put together?
Sorry, darling.
How many of those border blocks do we put together?
I'm pretty sure it's 21. And I'll go through that right now with you.
You know, joining them up,
Yeah.
like, because they're not going to go in a straight line right through the.
No, that's right. Yeah. I'm going to go right through that right now.
Okay, good.
Okay. All right. So get your pens and paper out. You're going to need this information. This is very important for you. Let's try to get all my crud out of the way. Okay. Don't need that. Don't need the glue. Need this, that. Okay. Once you've done the inside bit, and you've joined them all together, you can see I've done a little bit of unpicking here. Your next thing to do is going to be to do these like you're going to join them together, and you're probably going to join them in. I'll see if I can zoom out a little bit more. That's as far as it'll go. So you're going to join, sorry. 4 by 4 of these blocks, right? So you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're going to go 4 down. In between each of these, you're going to do exactly what I did, those 4 blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, with your black in between, just like I did with the border, yeah? So you're going to need one of those in between. You'll make 4 rows of 4, then you'll come across, and this will be your hardest seam because it's so long, all right? And you're going to come across this way, and this is where you'll place them in different directions. You might change your directions. You don't have to have them in the same direction I've got, all right? But I've still got bits of thread in there. So you're going to go and join one piece of black, 1 inch wide, to one strip, which is your top one. Then you're going to join it together the same way I showed you to do that border, that smaller piece. Same way you join these ones together, these blocks, but it's just in one long piece, right? And then you're going to do the second row, then the third row, and you're going to have one at the top, or the bottom, I should say, the bottom of your centerpiece. And you're also going to grab another and do it to the top. So you're going to have top, in between blocks, all the way down, and then you'll grab another piece and go all the way down either side. Now, that piece there, okay, all the way down the side. So it's basically framed by like a piece of black the whole way around, yeah? You with me? Does that make sense? Everyone understands that? So you've got the little bit of black in between each block, the whole way, and also all the way around framing it. Then, this is where she gets hairy. You're going to need to have, because on this, I actually have the pink attached to there, from there to there, right? From one bit to there, as close as I can get. Might be able to zoom, like, let's see if I can get it up a bit so you can get more of an angle. There we go. That's better. There you go. All right. So from this side to this side, it can be the top, the bottom, the side, it doesn't matter. It is the width of it, okay? Then I made that one wider. All right, I think I told you that in the thing. It needs to be wider so that it'll fit the width of this. And these, then we have these. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 for one side joined together. So you'll need 4 border pieces for one side joined together. Got that written down? Turn it to its side. And you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for a second border joined together. Okay, got that written down. Turn it again. And you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for a third. So 2 lots of 5 so far. And I've left my fourth side off so that we can do it twice together. It's going to be the remainder. And I'll just place it here. Stretch all out. You can't see this on screen, but anywho, I'll explain it to you. Oh, come on, be nice to mummy. There's not enough room. Okay.
A photo of the whole quilt laid out black.
Oh, well, I will eventually. Yes, yes. I've just got to, I haven't attached this purposely because I wanted to do this with you guys, and then I'll have a whole thing flat. But I don't have an actual drawing of it or anything like that because, like I said, this border, I basically, you know, cut and paste that one to make it work. And I'm just trying to get it to stretch out nicely without being naughty. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm pretty sure it's 7. So we've got 5 and 5. That's 10 and 14. 14. That's 6. 14. 4. What's 14 and 6? 20. Yeah, 7. So it's 7. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then one more, 7. And that last one, right, I'm pretty sure she goes off the actual edge of the quilt. So we're going across here, all the way in. Do 6. All right, so it's going to go across there. So I think I gave you 21 of these. Is that correct? 5, 6. Yeah. 6. That's 20. That's 24. Is that right?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Good. All right, as long as you've got enough, that's the main thing. All right. Okay, so that last one is going to go pretty much all the way up there, right up to the end. You're going to have a little bit left over, and we're going to use a bit of black and then purple, basically, and we're going to cut that accordingly at the end. All right, so that's going to make that meet up. Does that make sense? No? Yes? No? Yes? Yeah, okay. All right, so once you've done that center one, that's the big one. These become their own life, you know, they have their own life. So you'll have 1 with 6, 2 with 5, and 1 with 4. And then you've got that extra bit. Don't do the last 7th one, just leave that to the end. And we'll do it together and do that last bit at the end. All right, so just leave that last little bit to the end. But so you do your 6, do your 2 lots of 5, and do your 1 lot of 4. Now, when you're doing your borders, I'll have to see if I can carry out. The first border I did was this top one here. Okay, so I've sewn, after I've done all the blacks, then I've sewn the pink straight across there, and I've got that bit of black there. Now that is a little wider. Yeah, stop that. That is wider than this one. You can see. Did I give you that measurement in the cutting? No, yes. Can't see it. All right, so we've got one, that's 1.5 inches. Okay, and that goes the whole length of that border there. So this first one. Then there is. Yep, good. And what I did was, turn that around so you can see. It's very hard to do this on camera. Much easier when you're in the classroom. Okay, so that top border, I cut this, I cut that, and I had this ready. I joined them all together in a piece, bang, just like that, right? Then I sewed that whole piece to this. Does that make sense? There's one big piece. Yeah. When you make this one big piece, don't forget to put your piece of black on the top, okay, and the bottom. It won't fit if you don't. All right, so that makes that one big piece. So you'll have your whole strip of your pink, the whole strip of your black, your 4 pieces together, and join them all together. And then at the end, once you've joined them all together in the long seam, long edge, then add on your bit of black on this side and add it on this side. Yep. And then join that whole thing here to the center. Once you've done that, so it'll look like that, and it'll look like this. Like that. That's what it will look like. So that's your blocks, that's your centerpiece down there, and you'll have this here. Then you're going to turn it this way, and you're going to do the exact same thing with this one. But this time, let's see if I can get it up a little bit higher. Oops, the wrong way. There we go. A little bit higher. Let's see my mess. So we're going to go all the way from the edge. So we're going to measure. All right, we're going to have that all the way from here to here, from the edge of the fabric, the quilt right to this other edge, right? Because that won't be here, remember? That is going to be just like that. You're going to get your big long piece of pink, you get your black, then you get these ones, join them all together, and you've got your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can see how wonky mine are now. 5. And you have your bit of black at the end of that one and that one. Make sure it goes right across. Okay. And you've got that as one big strip. It's one big piece. No other thing here. Grab that whole big piece and sew it to that long seam. Yeah? Are you understanding, or you need that explained again? Does that, you're right that with that, Maggie?
Yep.
Yep. And Gidget, you're right with that? I can't hear you. Can you unmute yourself, sweetie?
Unmute. Can you tell me how big that black strip is at the top where we're joining?
This
yes.
One? That's
yes.
1.5 inches wide.
1.5 inches wide. 1.5.
Yeah. Yeah. All the other black will be 1 inch.
I slept through my alarm.
Did you?
Yeah.
Now I can hear Gidget. We can hear everything.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. Okay, so you've got everything else will be 1 inch, but these ones here will be 1.5. Right.
Okay, because so they're not on our. They're not on our cutting list, are they?
They will. The fabric will be there, but I don't know if you've been told to cut them yet. I don't think so. No, because what I like to do is I like to measure. So I will go, yeah, I'll measure this part, the main part of the quilt. I'll measure that, and then I'll cut that piece of black to the width of that. Yeah, and same with the pink, and then I'll join them all together. And you will have to tweak, right? There will be tweaking with any quilt. There's always tweaking. This will be the same.
I've always tweaked.
Always tweaking, always. So once you've done that, you'll have this look. So you'll have those all joined up, and you'll have the centers all here or behind it. You've got one border over here, and you've got your second border. Then you're going to turn it sideways, and you're going to do your third. And your third border is exactly the same process. So we can hear everything still, Gidget, just so if you wanted to go mute, you can. So again, you're going to measure the whole width of this. You're going to cut it this to the same size as this, as in the width. Same with your black. and you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these, and you're going to join them together first, then that to the black, black to that, all right? And then all that one piece gets joined to here in one big go. Does that make sense, Redo? Beauty. All right. Then we're going to get to the fourth one, and we're going to do the exact same thing, but it's going to go all the way across the quilt. Now, I have actually done a little bit different. It's got dust on it from being on the floor. So what I've done is I've just joined this on without joining this, because I wanted to do it with you. So it's going to go that way. All right, because I want all those black sections, I've got a loose seam, all those black sections to be facing outwards. So they're all going to face that way, and that will go over there like that. And it'll go from one end all the way to the other. And the last, because you've got enough to do one extra. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here. And I've left the last little bit. So this last border, we're going to do together next week, as in attaching it and adding on that little bit at the end. And we're going to use our pattern, but we're going to adjust our pattern to make it work for us. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay, good. All right. Well, I've just found a seam come undone. This is what happens when you don't do the right thing. Look at that mess. Who did that? Look at that. That's disgusting. All right, we're going to have to do a bit of phone, and I don't know what the heck has happened there. That is nasty. I reckon my machine's played up. Look at that. That's nasty. All right, everyone turn your microphone on so I can hear you. I'm going to fix that up before I let it go back into the box. Turn your microphones on.
All these sloppy teachers we've got.
Nasty. Oh, look out. I'm going down now. You can't tell it's going down, but it is. Right. Yeah, badass teachers. All right. So I know that you guys wanted to do this. It's a lot of fun and it's really good. But I tell you what, it was a hell of a lot of thinking to get it to work right the way I wanted it to work. And I reckon that, you know, between all 6 or 10 of us, we're going to get it right. She'll be fine. So the last one, what I've done is I've allowed it so that we pretty much do the same things, the six panel blocks that go across, the outside blocks, and then that last bit, we're going to do that little bit of black, that single 1 inch thing, and then we're going to do a bit of purple. We're going to let it run off the edge so that we can actually make it fit, and that's just going to sit, you know, look like it's leading off to another piece. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, does that all make sense? Is it, or have I just spoken a whole heap of double Dutch?
No, it's all good. All good.
Sounds pretty good to me.
It sounds all right. So do you understand how to join those 2 pieces together, like the 2 blocks? That makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you pay more attention to your seams than I do, you'll have really lovely, lovely join. I'm so not a patchworker. I am more a arty-farty kind of person, but I love doing it and I love teaching it. But when it comes to, I do as I say, not as I do. That's it. So, you know, so I don't do perfection. We all know that. So yours is going to look better than mine. I can 100% guarantee it, because I don't do perfect. I really don't. So I know how
None of us do.
So we've got, again, I'm going to upload this today. Now I know how to get it uploaded into YouTube, and I will send you the link, each of you, all of you in the classes, and then you'll be able to go back in and re-look at it, and any questions, please feel free to ask. Don't think you're being annoying. It's not an issue. It's all part of it. All right. So, and because this pattern is still, you guys are basically the first to make it other than me. That is as simple as it gets. All right. So, yeah, you are guinea pigs. Just saying.
Well,
Yeah.
if we wanted to make it bigger, can we get more fabric?
Yeah, absolutely. The only one I'd be struggling with would be the pink, because I don't really have it, but I do have like a red, but it's not a red, it's like a pink red, but it would go. Or you could do what I did, and I ran out of one, so I ran out of that, so that's why I went to the darker one. So yeah, I can absolutely, like all the other
Would it
colours,
be a matter? Would it be just a matter of putting blocks on, or what?
sorry, I'm putting
More blocks on, or would you just do a wider border?
no, put more blocks on. You'll make that centre bigger, especially if you're going to put it in, say, a king size quilt, you know, or queen size. You're going to need to make another row of four on one side and then 5 on the top, just to get the centre, you know, to make it sit in the centre of a whole bed. Otherwise, it's going to look long, which would be a single bed. Yeah, that makes sense. So, but yeah, I've got the purple here. I've got the yellow here. I'm pretty sure, yeah, I've got the lime, and I've got the blue. The only one I'm low on is the pink, or purple. No, the pink. But I mean, you could, if you wanted to, the whole scheme of things, before you add all your blocks together, if you were to mix in another colour, like that red, like I'll show you the red. Hang on. Let me get it. I'll show you. People turn me off. You gonna let me throw things around? Yeah. I'm pulling stuff down from the roof just about. All right. Noisy little bugger. There we go. So that's it there. It's like a pink thread. But when you put it with the pink, it looks different. See?
Yeah.
Then you could go and just throw in something like.
What about a different?
Bingo.
See this?
What is it?
I used that for the big one, that for the little one, and I had to change my pinks because I just didn't have enough pink. So if I want to add more, I'll just add more of these colours in.
Did you get a kit, Gidget?
Yep.
You
No,
didn't?
no,
Oh, okay.
I didn't get a kit.
Don't tell me that.
No. I actually thought I had enough of everything.
Yep.
But I just substituted, that's all.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly right. And if you mix them up, no one's going to notice. You know, and I actually thought that, with people, you know, if they wanted more of these kits, I was like, well, I don't have the pink. But you could mix up the red and the pink together because they are all from the same, you know, cut from the same, you know, range.
Oh, that, yeah.
But yeah, you could. I don't have a huge amount of pink in stock at the moment, but I can try and order it in. But I do have this one, which is in the range of the hotter pinks, but it's got a pattern in it. But because you're cutting it down so small, isn't it lovely? But again, I've only got about 4 meters, but it's lovely. It'll go perfectly with it because it's got all the colours in it.
Yeah.
So there's no reason why you couldn't have that around your border, you know, around the edge instead, or vice versa.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's
Okay.
no
So how much extra material would we need if you want to say make a queen size?
Good question.
What would for me do you think be enough, or
have a look what we've got size for now. Yeah, I'm working in.
Because you need for
If you're going to do another, say 4, 5, 6, 9, that's half, bit over half of, you're going to need half of that fabric again. I would think, because if you're doing another, at least for the blocks, because you're going to do another, it means you need more on your sides because you've got the,
yeah.
you know, and then the centers as well. So you're doing another, well, there's 16 in the center. If you're adding another 9, well, half of 16 is 8. So you've over doubled, like you've doubled it almost, like you've added another half on again. So you would add another half of at least. And I did do the lean thing with the fabric. I didn't go overboard, a little bit over, but not much. Yeah, look, I always play safe because I hate running out. It drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Did
throwing
you
those
hear somebody knocking on the door last night?
No.
at my place. No.
I got up. I heard it knock about 4 times.
Yeah.
I got up and I couldn't see anybody. Went back to bed, and then about 5 minutes after, they knocked a lot heavier, whoever it was.
Yeah.
But I wasn't going to get up again.
No. No.
Went for over half an hour.
Really?
Oh, God loves.
My door tapping.
No, was somebody definitely knocking.
What time was that, do you know?
After we went to bed.
No?
That's a bit scary, isn't it? Don't answer the door at night, Gidget.
Oh, God, I'd have to answer it, darling. I might get a surprise.
Oh, dear. All right, so so if you're going to make it bigger, Maggie or Gidget or anyone, yeah, you need to remember to add that little bit. Don't run out of fabric because, you know, fabric ranges run a maximum of around about 3-4 months. So once that range is done, the chances of it being reprinted again are they're just buggered and nothing. Like you'll just, yeah, you'll be chasing the web trying to find
I forgot about this. I'm
The dyes are
supposed to
different.
watch it from 10 o'clock.
Yeah. So yeah, the dye lots will be
We never
different.
share.
The whole kit and caboodle. All right.
The time it was
So,
15:15.
let me just go here and go. Just
Doesn't matter. I'm doing it different.
oops, have I done that one? I've got Gidget on. Yep. Yep. Sorry, just I just muted your Gidget. Don't take offense just because I know you're chatting with someone. It's all good. It's all good. All right. So any other questions at all?
No.
No. Okay. Trying to think of anything else that can possibly help you. Definitely have your stitch on 1.5 and do your seams. When you're doing your stitch, you know how I showed you before my seam came undone? That's because I didn't go back and forwards at the end. All right. So if you don't do that back and forward thing, you're going to have my problem. Because I am a real crud for that. I'm shocker. So if you don't go back and forwards, you get that. Okay. So do as I say, not as I do. All right, just saying. If you're wanting any other fabric to add in, just send me a PM. Just let me know which ones you want. You know, I can make up a little bit more for you. That's no dramas. What else? And if you've used up all your sample pieces, you know, even the extra one, the one I gave you, that's like a card, your main, just keep that as the one that you use to copy. If you've lost that or anything, just let me know, and or you've used it accidentally, and I'll send you off another. Good. I can send it through If you've got A3 printing, I can send it through email. If not, I could send it through the post. It's only a couple of bucks.
I found my padding sheet under the lounge.
Sorry, darling.
My packing sheet that I lost under my lounge.
Oh, you found it under your lounge. How'd that happen?
I knew I had it. I just couldn't for the life of me find it.
Didn't I send it to you again?
Yeah, thank you for that.
I think I'm going mad. I'm thinking, I'm sure I sent this out. I'm sure. And I think Christine Watkins, she's here somewhere online with us in the background there. But I have to send Christine. She's been doing it in the background on her own. I think I've got to send you a requirements list again. So I will do that today. That was I had a couple of days where I just went not doing anything. So Helen knows what that's like there, Helen. Just go.
Certainly do. Definitely.
I'm not answering the phone. I'm not answering a message. I might look at it and go, hey, that's nice. Put a shower. Love you all too. I just don't want to talk to anyone right now. I just want to veg out on the couch and be a vegetable. So, but yeah, it's been good, and I've enjoying showing you how to do these and putting this together. This has been really good. But I will get the girls, get them to actually.
I'm watching this. It's about a couple of shearers cooks.
Right.
They had 5 children between them. When they got married, they had 4 more.
Who's this?
Oh. They got 12.
I think that's someone else's conversation. All right, guys. See you later. We'll see you next Monday, 10 o'clock. And I'll try and get that little link off to you a bit quicker this time. But yeah, we'll see you next Monday. Probably see you during the week anyway. Just message me, phone, my number, where I live. There's no hiding. You can always get to me and ask me anything you need to know. Even if you want to come out for a drive, no, that's something you can't, but Helen knows where I live. You can come out for a drive. I'll see you on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're having our little Christmas do. Yeah, feel free to just give me a ring, even if you want to do a video call, so you can show me at the same time what you're doing, so I can understand and do it in layman's terms. So, all right. So thank you guys for joining. I will pause or stop the recording very shortly, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
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 Bye, everyone.
Bye.